Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show, and welcome back to the program. And I do believe our guest is on the phone. Good morning, News Talk 1270. Is this Jeff?
It is, Don. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing this morning? This is Jeff Hymes from the John Birch Society. I want to welcome you to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And then we'll talk a little bit about the lecture series that you have going on tomorrow in just a second. But for those that aren't familiar with what the John Birch Society does, and I think quite a few of our listeners are probably quite familiar, and maybe even a few members out there. But for those that don't know, just give us a little bit of an idea of what you're all about.
Yeah, thanks. At the very basic level, I think the John Birch Society and me personally, I feel like the challenges we have, I think there's no question, it's pretty unanimous that there's some major challenges they're focusing and facing right now. And the base root of that is the lack of education, the lack of understanding of some principles of liberty. So the John Birch Society exists to do, it's a nonprofit, donation-run organization. We exist to educate people on the principles of freedom and then to educate them on the principles of action, how to get involved and how to solve the problems at the local level, and how to do so in a way that's principle-based, that's based on constitutional ideas. And, because we can get involved in debates all day long about progressivism versus conservatism, all those different things, but the real issue, it's not a liberal progressive or a Republican Democrat issue. It's a freedom tyranny issue, and if we can bring to light the principles to help people understand and apply those principles to the current events or issues or candidates or whatever. So that's kind of the nutshell of what I try to do.
Yeah, I mean, it really is all about limited government and personal responsibility, and I think that's a message that really resonates, especially here in Wyoming and Campbell County in particular. I'd imagine that kind of message probably hits home with a lot of people around here, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I've been blessed to be able to travel the state the last 2 years and to go to around 24 towns and do presentations in the evening about the Constitution, and then during the day try to talk to people and get them excited about getting involved. And yeah, Wyoming's a great state, great people, and great patriots who are really, they get it. And it's really kind of a fun wave to ride right now. There's a lot of people waking up and saying enough is enough, we're tired of the same old, time to do something new, and that newness is the Constitution. Let's return to our roots.
Oh, yeah. And it's actually part of the reason, I mean, the main reason I came out here, I came from back east, so I moved from Delaware, so you can imagine it's a little bit of a culture shock being able to actually exercise your rights without asking permission from everybody and their mother. And, that's what this town meeting tomorrow is all about. This is about gun control and the Second Amendment as it relates to the Constitution. So tell us a little bit about what you have going on tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm an invited guest. It's not me running this thing. It has some great, there's some chapter. We have a strong John Birch Society chapter who's running this, and a group of citizens that have put on a presentation, 6 or 7 months ago. They've done a great job. Last time we had over 100 people at the presentation, so we thought we may as well follow up with a nice presentation about gun control. So, yeah, the focus, like you said, is principle-based. I'm going to be talking about the constitutional foundations behind gun rights and gun control. And then Taylor Haynes, great man from, it's not Laramie County, Albany County, is going to be talking about the historical context. And then locally, we're blessed to have Sheriff Pownell. He'll be there talking about kind of where the rubber hits the road, the local laws, the concealed carry, what all that stuff means to the citizen. And then we're going to wrap it up with what can you actually do about this and have a panel discussion. So it should be really interactive, action-packed, I guess. We have four little time slots. We're going to get in there and get some different angles on this and try to involve the citizens and get them educated, to give them an opportunity to get involved and to understand. Because we all know, there's no question, we're all for gun rights and self-defense. So I'd say most of us, I shouldn't say all. But a lot of times we can't tie that to the foundation of the Constitution, the foundation of the historical context, or to how that actually applies to my daily life here in the county, then, it kind of loses its meaning. So we're trying to get that basic foundation set, and I think that's going to be the purpose. I think that's going to be.
Like you said, I think most people around here would agree on the principle of Second Amendment rights, but they might not know the historical context of what people are trying to do as far as gun control. And this would give them the tools that they would need to defend the constitutional aspect of being able to exercise your rights. I mean, we're blessed in Wyoming to live in a state where the powers that be you respect those rights, but it's not like that everywhere. And unfortunately, we have to leave the state sometimes, and sometimes somebody might get into a discussion with us, and it's always good to be able to explain yourself and explain the constitutional aspect in a way that that can maybe show somebody else, show somebody else the light.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because we tend to put on the rosy-colored glasses here in the state as well and think, man, everything's great here. We're a pro-gun state. Well, look at some of the bills that went through or didn't go through in this last session, HB 103, HB 104, and HB 105, which are pretty clear-cut, straightforward, anti-federal gun control bills, and they didn't make it through. And so you look at this, it's easy to say all those other places, they don't quite understand, but we do. Luckily, we do. Well, when you look at some of the details behind it, there's some challenges we face in our own state with not understanding that it's the right of the people to keep and bear arms, and that the legislature shouldn't be getting in the way of the people saying, no, we have that right, and we will defend it, and our sheriff will defend that right for us, instead of saying, oh, no, we need to cave into the federal government. They're in charge. They tell us what to do, and if they want to come take our guns, we better comply. And so there's a lot more issues close to home when we look at it that way, and that'd be interesting to be made aware of as well, because I think we do. We tend to look at it as everything is fine here, but quite honestly, everything isn't fine here, and we'll be able to look at some facts, not to get emotional and wound up about it, but just look at some of the facts and go, hey, there's some things we can work on right here in our own neighborhood, right here in our own county, right here in our own state that'll help us to retain those rights and to fight for them, because they are slipping away even here in Wyoming.
Now, and it's interesting you mentioned the sheriff, and this is something I've seen, kind of nationwide, that the sheriffs are the ones that are on the law enforcement side of actually helping the people hang on to what rights we have left. It really is great that we, our local sheriff is coming out to speak to everybody and, give you a little bit of a legal aspect of it. I mean, you don't really see that. I mean, with appointed police chiefs and stuff like that in big cities, you're not seeing that. But the sheriffs at the grassroots level are, on the front lines of helping us keep our Second Amendment rights.
You bet. I mean, that's really a credit to Sheriff Pownell that he show up and do this and be available to the public. I mean, when it comes down, it's a very basic idea of republicanism. You elect your representatives to defend and protect your rights, and the sheriff, at the local level, he is the supreme executor of the laws. And so the sheriff is there to protect us, and for him to not only come out and talk to the public and help them understand, but for the public to, return to him, hey, we are in favor, we're supporting you, we really do want you to stand up for rights. And that's a good mutual relationship there that we can help, because when rubber hits the road, it's what happens locally that matters most. And if we have the beauty of self-defense, the way it's set up in the Constitution, it is a very local thing. So for our sheriff to be supporting and then to feel the support of the community is critical. That's what makes freedom rule. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So doors open tomorrow at 9:30. This is at the Campbell County Public Library. Doors open at 9:30, and you start off with the gun control and the Constitution talk at 10 o'clock. And then at 11, it'll be Dr. Hymes with the history of gun control. And then I guess you're speaking again about supporting the sheriff. Sheriff Pownell will talk about the legal aspects, and then you'll have a question and answer period as well. So I mean, so there'll be a chance for anybody that might have some questions about all this to talk to each of you as well, right?
You bet. Yeah. This isn't stand up on our soapbox and tell you how it is. This is a community event, and that's what was great about the previous one we had 6 or 8 months ago. The very, very interactive. Last thing we need is more people talking at us. We need to work together as a group, and that's what I think will be the indicator of how successful this is, and I'm sure that's what's going to happen. We're going to have a lot of interaction and enjoy rubbing shoulders with people who feel like we do and get some good information and getting armed with action plans of what to do to help out.
Oh, yeah.
Those rights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so one more time, this is tomorrow morning. Doors open at 9:30 at Campbell County Public Library. It's going to run up until about 2:00 or so. And I highly urge anybody that has an interest in this. And even if you don't own a weapon, I mean, this does affect everyone. Even if you choose not to own a weapon, I mean, this is our God-given rights, and if we don't educate ourselves, we could lose them.
Yep, and they're very much eroding as we speak. So it's important that we understand and see those principles and stand for them. So I think you're right on, Don.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, tomorrow the town meeting starts at 10, but doors open at 9:30, and it'll probably be a packed house again. I just a gut feeling it'll be a packed house. So you might want to get there early to get a good seat. So yeah, tomorrow morning at the Campbell County Public Library. Jeff Hymes from the John Birch Society, I want to thank you for joining us this morning, and I also want to thank Vicki for setting this up with us as well.
Yeah, Vicki's one of the drivers. Vicki and Barb and Lyle, they're growing concerns, so it's fun to be involved with people who care and then put their feelings into action. So.
Yeah, see, and that's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yep, that's right.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jeff, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again sometime soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for your time, Don.
Yep, thank you. There you go, Jeff Hymes from the John Birch Society. Again, tomorrow morning at the Campbell County Public Library. Doors open at 9:30. It'll go until about 2. If this is something that you have an interest in, it never hurts to be a little bit more educated. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Better than your first kiss, without all the awkward slobber. Done.